So against internet commenter advice, I decided to GC my own house, right? I think it came out pretty well, but check out the journey, learn how to build a house yourself, and don't be too afraid to try something you're uncomfortable with. All right, it's roofing day. Got all the material that was dropped off yesterday going up, both subs here today, the roofing and the framing. As you can see, they're finished framing the front of the house. They got to cut out the windows, but the overall is done for the sheathing. And now they're going around this side. And I got the roof guys up on, conveniently enough, the roof. It's funny, I looked at the roof and I climbed up on the roof the other day and I was terrified standing in the center of it. And these guys literally will walk around on the edge and do stuff that I just can't get it. I do not have that in me. But the house is closing up nicely. Don't have much plywood left, which is good and bad. Hopefully I don't run out. I get tired of running out and ordering more because, I mean, on one hand, it's good that we didn't overorder. Oh, look at that. We're starting on the shingles already. So, if you look, you have an aluminum drip edge over the side. You've got the ice and water shield. You have the felt, then the ice and the water shield. And then you have the shingles. All to prevent any water from getting through. So this is exciting. I like this. Now the tricky parts we have on this roof are there's some flat roof there, flat roof right there. And then up in the center there's a valley which is not it's not the biggest slope, which we were questioning whether or not we'd have to go with roll roofing or we can do shingles. We decided to go through with the shingles anyway. So I'll have the roof look uniform. That only affects if you're standing all the way in the backyard looking at the back of the house or looking at it from a satellite, which you probably wouldn't notice anyway. But I'm excited this process. This is going to be a tough one for me to document because I don't like heights and I don't want to go up on the roof. But you can see the ropes they use to tether. This is probably the most dangerous part of the job, which is roofing. So you got to make sure you have the insurance from everybody. So the material itself, not too bad. The whole stack of material I had here. I've got a more complex roof. The flat roof makes it a little bit trickier, but the material for me was about $8,000. If I use it all, if I don't, I'll return a little bit. Labor, $4 grand, which is perfectly reasonable. So if you're looking to sort of price out a roofing job and you're getting numbers at 25, whatever, just keep that in mind. And I'm not in a cheap area by any stretch, but these guys are effectively making $2,000 a day to do the work and then the cost of the materials. And I also use the higher end materials, not the Rolls Royce, but definitely the Corvette of shingles, the heavy duty Timberline GAF HDZ shingles. So it will look nice. You can see the texture in it, probably not as well from here, but I think it's looking good. So we'll check back in tomorrow. We'll see where they're at with that. We should be able to wrap up everything. I ordered a little bit more plywood to touch up the outside, and we're pretty much coming to an end of the framing and the roofing. and then we can get into the plumbing, get the rough in, pour the basement, frame the basement, and then it's gung-ho as soon as those windows come in and we can get this place dried in. Stay tuned, more to come. Good morning. So you guys aren't used to seeing me with a hard hat, but when I see them driving nails through the roof to where I'm walking, hard hat's probably the way to go. And I got my plans here to make sure everything is going according to plan. Let's go upstairs, get a little bit of a closer look. You'll see some of the stuff that they're working on. I feel like I'm not getting enough footage of what this house looks like while it's framed out. It's so cool. My favorite thing that they've just done, and as they're finishing the framing and everything, is they got my fireplace framed out. So that's going to open up the room right there. That's very cool. That's going to be a three-sided fireplace connecting the sitting room to the bedroom. So you'll have a fire going through both sides. Have a TV up there. And another one right over there. That's nice. Here you can see the shower was framed out. Now obviously they're still doing the sheathing on the outside with the 1/2-inch plywood all around, and they'll finish cutting out the windows and then throw the Tyvek wrap. Here you can see the underlayment down and how they ride up the sides, because so water doesn't come up. I mean, the water's never going to come up and ride up that high. And this is perfect. I love it right here. That you could see the underlayment, the ice shield, and then you get a good idea of what it's going to look like. And ultimately, when it's done, you see the ridge vent up top there. You get this. The multiple layers. In the back, we have a completely different type of roofing. It's flat roof. So you got these rolls. Look at this, it's all coming along. Let me go over. And then we also have the torch paper. Torch paper is cool. It's exactly what it sounds like. You need fire. So here you can see how it's all coming together. You got the flame here, so when it binds up, you're taking a solid thing and you're going right off the side there. So there's no way for water to get underneath this because it's all sealed up in a gelatinous way. Here's a standard ridge cap, which is just essentially they cut the shingles sideways, lay them down sideways, and then work down to the edge. This is custom bent drip edge. Now the window order's got to go in now that we have all the rough openings. Windows, I was anywhere between, and windows can be expensive. I've had window quotes from, let me go inside where it's a little quieter. I've had window quotes of anywhere between 100, up as high as 140, all the way down to the pretty much between 70 and 100. After all said and done, I got rid of the one window downstairs in the butler's pantry, which is directly below me here. Getting rid of that window allows me to put the backup generator and everything over here as well, because that has to be at least 6 feet from any window that opens, and that solves that problem. The other window I kept those windows. I modified a window downstairs. Whatever. Long story short, I'm out the door at like $55,000 on windows, which is much better than 70 or 100. And here you see they got the bender ready. What's this? Put it in. One crease. Now the measurement for the edge Everything is cool. Like, this whole process is cool. Everybody's a specialist. Now you put it in the thing, and this is going to now bend it up. Boom. Just got to do over here too. This is a good idea, a good example of the ridge vents. The ridge vents sit on the top so that the air can come up and out, and heat doesn't get trapped in the attic. Now, as I said, I don't have very much of an attic, but you do see those gaps there, which are now covered. No water is going to get in there, but the pressure of the air can escape. Now, I want you to take this for what it is, because remember, I have plans. I am not a professional here. I am a sort of a layman showing you that it's not impossible to undertake a task like this, and you have to weigh, and it may be worth it to a lot of people to hire a contractor that knows what they're doing. But I hire professionals that know what they're doing, and they build to the plans. Obviously, we'll catch some stuff with the plans when those issues arise. I'll either go to my architect or go to somebody who knows better than me to give the right answer. I don't be like, yeah, let's just go that way. I'll definitely let the professionals that do this all the time. Here you go. Here's a drip edge with the second bend in it. I let the professionals that do this all the time weigh in. But at the end of the day, if you see the amount of money that you can save by contracting yourself, it may be worth it to you too, to sort of undertake this. And I'm saying it's even to this point, and it looks like a house, and it looks like a phenomenal house. I'm like super excited for it. I got to let you know that it's easier than I expected it to be. A little bit more costly. The budget's sort of like when you think you got a hard budget at the beginning of something, there's always a way for people to try to squeeze you. And at the end of the day, you're not going to pick a fight over a couple $1,000s here or there. But at the end of the day, when you get this all done, and for a fraction, when I say a fraction, I mean you're talking, we'll see. Right now, even in the best case scenario, I was told $350,000 was the cheapest I had a guy to get to essentially to this point. I'm 150 grand ahead of the game. It's a lot of money. And that's a lot of money, especially if you're borrowing, and 150 grand may cost you an extra 500 grand because you're financing it with a mortgage. So keep that in mind, and don't be afraid. And there's got to be a solution here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but there's got to be a solution that can help people that are not in construction get a little bit of the upper hand and even the playing field, because all the labor money that gets spent on these projects doesn't end up in the hands of the guys that are here. It ends up in the hands of the guys that are not here and hiring these guys and bringing them out. So keep that in mind. Remember earlier in the video, I'm like super excited. I know I'm going to live here, but I'm like super excited. I mentioned that I made my first mistake, and I expected to make mistakes, and I expect my mistakes to cost me far less than the hiring of a general contractor would have been. But up here, you've got, these guys have the aluminum trim here, and we need, for this overhang, we need 1.5 inches for the molding that goes around, and I think they only left about 1 inch. So that would be the problem that we have to solve, because you essentially have to go around the entire roof. Now, good thing is I'm talking to the guys that did the roof about doing the siding, so that becomes their problem to then solve. But shingles, I don't know if you know, they're a standard color, but they're made on different dates. So if you get different shingles or the same shingle on different dates from a different batch, you may have color variation, which is why I'm just going to eat the $200 in shingles. Do I think I'll ever need to replace any of these shingles in the foreseeable future? No, but I'd rather sit on that $200 in extra shingles. I've got 2 squares there that if we do have to go around the house and replace shingles and do the entire outside, it may cost me $1,500 more, but at least I've got matching shingles and it'll look right. And that's a pretty big oops on my end. It's also, I gave it to the roofers. I gave them the plans. It's all got everything laid out. So it's a little bit of an oops on their end, but it's the oops on their end. But it is my job as a GC to look out for stuff like that, and that one slipped through the cracks, and such is life. But I expected stuff like that. I just hope that ultimately, and I know ultimately, by saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'll be well ahead of the game, even if I make a couple of mistakes. So thanks for joining me on this walk around. As I said, next steps is we got to get this basement poured. So I've got the plumber going to come in. We've got the window order going in. That we've measured the rough openings to make sure they're all exact. We know what windows, like we got rid of that one. When we have all of this stuff, the window order will go in. It'll be about 6 weeks for those to come in. And we can get down into the basement, get the sewage ejector pump in, and then the steam shower, drain, cut in. Then we can come in, pour the basement, frame the basement, put the windows in, doors on, and we're dried in and ready to go for the finishes. Thank you for tagging along. I hope you're enjoying this series. There are a lot of videos here. A lot of these videos are going to be consolidated significantly. If you subscribe to the channel, you can jump behind that and I'll put all the videos up and you can stay up to date and feel like you're building the house yourself. If you have any questions about building a house, I don't know if I'll be able to answer them, but feel free to shoot me an email. I'll do my best and offer you a little bit of guidance as to what it would cost or what it should cost to create something like this. And not gonna lie, I really like the curb appeal of this house. I like the way it's coming out, and pretty proud of myself at this point. And the fact that I was able to save a lot of money and build a quality, awesome house is what I anticipated would happen. But I mean, as you go through it, there's always that anxiety until you get to the point where like, all right, we're done. That wasn't as bad as we thought. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.